Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today. A brief word on today's focus, which will be on listening. Full disclosure, it took me a good 2 years to actually learn to listen to a yoga teacher before I was teaching. And I would just have to look around the room and see what was going on. And today, in the days of Zoom, things are a little bit more interesting in the listening realm. So I'd like to encourage you today to be present with that. How are you listening? How are you showing up for yourself? Of course, in yoga, we have our anchors to bring us back into the present moment, our anchors being the body and the breath. And so we'll tune into that. Before we do, have a brief quote for you. Tara Brach, one of my favorite Buddhist philosophers, or psychologists rather, she says that listening is our willingness to lean in softly and our willingness to be changed by what we hear. So listening, our willingness to lean in softly and to be changed by what we hear. And we will apply that to our movement today. Let's start in child's pose. You can bring your toes, big toes together. Knees can be hip distance, shoulder distance apart, not too wide, not too narrow. And sliding your hands out ahead. I like the hands about mat distance apart to give enough room for the heart space. And start to invite your attention inward. Checking in with what it's like to be in your body at this time and on this day. And as we settle in, let's start to lengthen our inhales, feeling it expand within the chest. And draw out your exhales, letting it get a little longer as you activate your low belly, guiding it towards the spine. And continue to draw out your breath. Now, as you do, I'd like for you to feel the breath in your nose and hear the breath in your throat. Allow yourself to soften behind the face, behind the eyes. And also release around your heart. All right, nicely done. Let's maintain this breath count. Roll yourself up to a kneeling position, stacking your shoulders up over your hips. If you have more sensitive knees, you can always come up into a more upright position, so whatever suits you. Let's reach the arms out to a T, stretch your fingertips in opposite directions, and let's flip the palms up. So external rotation here through the shoulder. Switch it up, turn it the opposite direction, internal rotation. And so just take a few like that. Just rotating the shoulders open and close. You might notice what it feels like to use your hands to initiate the movement. And take your attention to the tops of your arm bones. See if you can instead use the tops of your arm bones to find the movement. You may notice that one arm rotates differently than the other. All right, next time your palms are turned up, take the tips of your fingers onto your shoulders and start to draw backward circles. So elbows go back. It's up to you how big or small, how fast or slow. And more of an art than a science here. And we'll take it the opposite direction. Elbows come forward, forward circles. And then back to neutral, we'll take one at a time back, adding in a gentle twist. One at a time back. I really like to look in the direction that I'm twisting towards. You might notice your hip bones want to lift up and move around. Instead, let your hip bones drop down as a source of grounding. We're talking about listening today. You might even hear some snap, crackle, pops in the shoulders as you do this. Come on back to center, release your hands into your lap or wherever's clever, and start to draw circles with the neck. Slow and steady, continue your breath here. Allow your jaw to be relaxed. Then change direction, take your circles the opposite way. Whew. All right, back to neutral. Come forward, cross your heels, and then you'll sit back just to bring your legs out ahead. Nothing fancy, just legs forward. So with your hands behind you, I'll come to the side so you can see a little better. So you've got your feet about mat distance apart. Drop your knees to the side. It's okay if they don't go all the way down. And back to center. Knees to the other side. Take it up. And just take a few of these on your own. Kind of windshield wiper action with the leg. And then I'm noticing that I'm holding my breath, so I'm going to consciously draw that out again. Okay, next time you're back to the center, option to either keep doing what you're doing or clasp your hands behind your head. When you drop your knees to the side, you'll turn in that rotation, just twisting through the upper back. So inhale, center. Turning to the other side, exhale, twist. Inhales will take you to the center. Exhales, find that optional twist. And take your time with this. You can continue, take a few at your own pace. If you're a go-getter, then you might feel yourself rushing, and I would encourage you to slow it down. Go just a little bit slower than you might want to. All right, so final few rounds here. You can continue with that, or when you turn to the side, lift up onto your knees for the twist. So inhale, center. Turning to the side, optional lift for the twist. Inhale, center. Optional lift and twist. All right, nicely done. Almost there. I really enjoy in the lift, just kind of sending the hips forward slightly. So you're in that neutral pelvis rather than a flexed pelvis. Go ahead and finish up one more on each side. Next time you're back to center, you can face forward, release your arms, cross your heels, and we'll come forward into tabletop. In your table, you've got your fingers spread out very wide, hands at least shoulder distance apart, and press down through your index fingers and your thumb. Now, as you firm your belly, feel your sternum lengthen away from your navel. We'll keep that. Right leg back. Bend your knee, circle it out towards your elbow, circling back and around. So add the breath. Inhale, bend and squeeze. Exhale, circle, straighten back. Inhale, bend and circle. Exhale, take it back. Continue, you've got about 3 more like this on your own. So one thing that sometimes happens here is the neck will break, meaning the head will kind of flop down. So instead, see if you can keep your neck long and your heart reaching forward. All right, let's change direction. So this time with your legs straight back, squeeze it towards your elbow, then lift up and circle back. Squeezing towards your elbow, lift out and circle back. You've got it, just a few like this on your own. Using your breath as your guide. And see if you can listen to what's going on in the hands. Maybe pressing your index thumb down a little more firmly. All right, you can come back to table. We'll switch it out to the other side. First, firm the belly, feel the heart lengthen forward. Then we'll take the left leg back. Bend the knees, you circle out around, squeeze toward the elbow and straighten back. Inhale, bend and come forward. Exhale, circle back. Continue, take a few circles in this direction. These are our controlled articular rotations of the hip. It's a fun way to explore the range of the motion. Last one. We'll flip it and reverse it. This time squeeze towards your elbow, lift out to the side, and then circle back and around. Put your breath into rhythm with the movements. Mindful of the neck, of course. And I like to take it a little bit slower. I have a habit of rushing, and so it's helpful to use the practice to slow things down. Last one. Right. Nicely done. You can come back to your table. In fact, let's slide onto the belly, lower yourself down flat. You'll take your hands behind your back, grab hold of your left wrist, and press the tops of your feet down, press your hips down. On an inhale, reach your left hand forward as you lift your chest and lift the head. So your thumb is up here. I like to close the fingers. Exhale, come back, and drop your head, look to the right. Press their feet and hips. Inhale, right arm reaches forward with the thumb up. Breathe into the back of your skull. Exhale, come back, and look left, lower down. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, come back, lower. Inhale, right arm reaches. Exhale, come back and lower. Nice job, y'all. Take one more each side on your own. See if you can lift more from below your armpit rather than from the neck. Nicely done. We'll take one round of both at the same time. Inhale, both arms forward. Lifting from below the armpits, option to add the legs. Take 2 breaths here. Feel the breath in your nose and hear the breath in your throat. After your next exhale, swing your hands back. You can rest your right cheek to the earth. Allow everything to settle down. Switch it out, take your left cheek to the earth. All right, hands below the shoulders. Tuck your toes and firm your legs from the belly. Inhale to a plank pose, lifting up. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's our first down dog, so let the head drop like an offering. On your inhales, feel the ribs expand outward. On your exhales, contract the low belly, draw it inward. Very nice. Step your right foot forward. Right foot forward and take your hands inside of your foot. Hands inside of the foot. So you're in a lunge variation. Then we'll circle the hips out and around. And we take a few like this. Circling the hips out and around. Our last few classes, we've been playing a lot with our functional movements. And so we might have a few less than conventional actions today. Go ahead and change the direction, taking your circles in and around. Sometimes reversing the direction can make your brain explode a little bit. Be prepared to be patient with the reverse. All right, and then once you're back in your lunge, we'll take a transverse lunge, a side lunge. So turn to the left, walk your hands toward the middle. You're gonna spin onto the heel of your back foot and come into Skandasana with your bend in the right knee. You can keep your hands to the floor, of course. And as you push your feet away from each other, feel the tops of your thigh bones draw towards each other. So there's quite a bit of resistance in the legs. As you breathe here, feel the expansion within the lungs. With the exhales, contraction in the belly. And one more on your own. Nicely done. Let's come on back to center to your lunge. Step yourself back to plank pose. Pause, firm the core, and take it back into downward facing dog. Breathing space behind the knees. Left foot steps forward. Take your hands inside of your foot, and we'll circle the hips out and around. Exploring the rotation. And continue to practice your breath. If the breath feels kind of rigid or worked, you might tone it down a bit. Let's change direction with those circles, so this time out and around. Next time you're back to center, pause in your lunge for our transverse lunge. Turn to the right, walking your hands toward the center, and we'll come onto the heel of the back foot and lower into Skandasana. So more than okay to continue to use your hands for support here. I'd like for you to resist your feet away from each other, pulling them apart. Then take the tops of your thigh bones, pull them towards each other. Very good. Firming the outer hips. Practice your breath here. On your inhales, hear the breath in your nose. On your exhales, feel the breath in your throat. One more full round of breathing. Beautifully done. Come to a lunge facing forward. Inhale to plank pose with your heels together. Firm your heels. Come forward to the tips of your toes and exhale, lower down to the belly. Untuck your toes. Inhale to a cobra pose. And exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes, firm the legs. Inhale, plank, push the floor away. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or walk to the front. Inhale, lengthen your sternum forward. Exhale, fold, squeeze your belly towards your legs. Inhale to stand, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release your arms by your side. All right, now we'll open up the side bodies a bit with our lateral bends. So with your feet hip distance apart, clasp your hands behind your head. I'll kneel so you can see a little bit better. So I've got my hands behind my head. I like to draw the elbows towards each other, right? Because that's not easy. So you might try that instead of having them way out. Up to you. Let's inhale here. Exhale, reach to the right, turning your clasp inside out and look over to the left. Inhale back to center, rest the hands on your head, elbows are bent. Exhale, reach over to the left, look to the right. You can kind of turn your torso to the right as well. Inhale back to center, elbows bent, hands rest. Listen close, exhale, squat down. So you're sitting a bend into the knees, reaching your arms up and overhead. Now as you do this, push your knees apart from each other, resisting that knock knee position. Inhale, push the floor away to stand, resting hands on head. Open your feet shoulder distance apart. Exhale, reach to the right, look left. Torso turns left. Inhale, back to center, rest. Exhale, reach left, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale, squat and sit back. Still pressing knees apart. Maybe heels even towards each other. Inhale, push the floor away, straighten your legs and rest. Keep mat distance apart. Exhale, reach to the right, look left. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach left, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale, squat back, push your knees out as you go, reaching the palms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, push the floor away, come on up and rest. You can release your hands, bring your feet back together, nicely done. We're all nice and warmed up for our sun A. Inhale, arms up, reach up. Let your breath be a little longer than the movement. Exhale, fold yourself forward and down. Bend your knees as much as you need to, hands to the floor. Inhale to half lift, lengthen your sternum forward. Step back to plank pose, squeeze the heels together. Exhale, half push-up. You can use the knees if you want. Inhale, up dog or cobra, yogi choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or float yourself to the front. Inhale, lengthen. Hands to the floor. Exhale, fold. Squeeze your belly towards your legs. Inhale to stand. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release your arms by the side. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale to half lift. Now for this one, exhale, squat low. At the bottom of your exhale, send it back, half push-up. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to expand. Exhale to contract. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or float to the front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Reach the arms up, the eyes up. Exhale, release the arms. One more like that on your own. And when you get to down dog, stay in down dog. Allow the breath to smooth. Take a moment to scan the body, using all of your senses to listen to your immediate experience. All right, step your right foot forward and set up your legs for warrior one. So you've got your back foot spun down. And as you bend into your front knee, sit low. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Warrior one. Keep the legs as is. Exhale, lower your hands back down to frame the foot. Remember, your breath is a little longer than the movement. Inhale, lift up, warrior one. Keep inhaling a little bit after you stop moving. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift and hold when you get there. Clasp your hands, turn your clasp up toward the ceiling. Reach your hands up as you plug your arm bones down. Feet press down and apart. Consider sliding your front knee further forward. Practicing your breath here. Inhale. And straighten your front leg and release your arms. Setting up for a revolve triangle, I'm gonna adjust my stance a bit so that I'm able to square my hips further forward. So you might play with that as well. Then with the right hand on the low back, lift your left arm up, bicep by the ear. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your hand down onto the top of your foot. So some of us may need to bend the front knee to make that happen. All gravy, do what you need to do. On your inhale, take your left arm by your ear again. Keep inhaling all the way up to stand. Exhale, lower down. Hand onto the foot. Inhale, bicep by ear, take it all the way up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and hold when you get there. Okay, now push your feet down and apart from each other, so lots of weight in the back foot. Feel your right hip carve inward toward the midline of the mat. Inhale your heart out in front of you. You can stay right here, or exhale, turn your chest open to the right toward our revolve pyramid pose. I really like using the hand on the hip, the hand on the right hip, to kind of guide it back in space. Option, of course, to fly your top arm if you'd like. Toning your abdomen and turning from the pit of your belly. Practicing your breathing for about 2 more rounds. Inhale. Looking down, exhale, release your hands down to frame your foot. And we'll take a very chill pyramid pose so you can straighten your leg, front leg, that is, rest your belly on your front thigh. Let go of the neck. And use this down-regulating pose to slow down the breathing. I like to take the hands back and turn the palms face up as a gesture of receiving. Inhale. Come back into a lunge. So lunge on the front foot here, and we'll set up for a side plank pose. So turning onto the edge of your left foot, step your front foot behind the back, so you've got a stagger situation here, and tone and turn your abdomen, stacking your shoulders. Friends with sensitive wrists, you're always welcome to drop your back knee down if you need. Just coming into your side plank pose. Looking down can be grounding, while looking up quite invigorating, so take your pick. But whatever you've got, press your index and thumb down and feel your bottom bicep turn forward. 2 more full breaths here. Hear the breath in your nose and feel it in the throat. Nicely done. We'll inhale to plank pose, squeeze the ankles from the core. Exhale, half push up. Inhale to back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice work, folks. Step your left foot forward. Set up your legs for warrior 1. Now, meaning the back foot is out about 45 degrees. Now, keep a deep bend in your front knee. So sit low through your hips. Inhale, lift your arms up. Let your inhale continue a little bit after you stop moving. Exhale, lower hands back down to frame the foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keeping your front knee very bent as you inhale, lift. Back leg very strong as you exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift up, stay up. Clasp your hands, turn your clasp up. And as you reach your clasp up, plug your arm bones down. Push your feet down and apart from each other. Sliding your front knee forward. Then breathing into the space behind your heart. Practicing your breath here. Inhale. Straighten your front leg. Relax your arms. All right, yogis, let's set up for a revolved triangle. I'm going to adjust my back foot and bring it forward a little bit. That way my hips can face forward. So you might need to do the same. Left hand on your low back, right bicep by the ear. Inhale, reach through the top fingers. Exhale, lower down. Take your hand under your foot. More than okay to bend your knee to make that happen. Listen close. Inhale your bicep by your ear. Keep riding your inhale all the way up to sand. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Slow and controlled. Inhale, lift and expand. Exhale, lower and contract. Now stay here, hand on the foot, knee bent if you need. Press your feet apart from each other, putting a little more weight in the back foot if possible. Now you can use your left hand on the hip there to kind of guide that left hip toward the midline of your mat. Inhale, slide your heart out in front of you. Stay here, or exhale, turn, rotate your chest to the left. If you're feeling secure, you might fly your top arm. Tone and turn your abdomen from the pit of your belly. Practicing your breath once you arrive. Inhale. Looking down. Exhale, release hands to frame the foot. Pyramid pose, straighten up your front leg and rest your torso onto your front thigh. And of course, you can bend that front knee as much as you need to help make contact. Use this to smooth out the breath, even letting the neck get long. You can take any variation you'd like to with your arms. I like to take the hands about halfway between each foot with the palms turned up to receive. Allowing this to be a restorative posture. Inhale. Lift up halfway, coming back to your lunge. So you got a little bend action in your front knee. Let's build this from the ground up. So take your right hand out to the side a bit. So out to the side about, and then rotate your fingers out about 30 degrees. Then really press through your index and thumb as you roll onto the edge of your back foot. Step your front foot behind it so you've got a stagger situation. Then use the strength of your legs to turn your chest open to the side. And we're telling us we did this on the other side. Take your arm alongside of you, turn your palm up, and then reach your arm straight up. Eyes can be up or down depending on what you need today. Gripping the floor with hands and feet. Breathing expansion into the ribs on the inhale. Contracting belly on the exhale. Last 2 breaths here. Nicely done. Slow and steady plank pose on your inhale. Hug the ankles, hug the legs. Half push up, exhale. Inhale to your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog. Allow everything to slow. Take a moment to listen what parts of the body you're talking to here. Might be your wrists, the hands, the face. Take a moment to honor and acknowledge whatever is speaking to you here. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, sternum out from navel. Exhale, fold, squeeze your belly onto your legs. Inhale to stand, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release your arms down by your side. Take a moment in Tadasana, we'll check in. We'll set up for our balance. Take your feet hip distance apart here. Lift up all 10 toes. Again, spread your toes out nice and wide. Set the big toes down. Lift them up. Ooh, drop the 8 little toes down. Lift them up. Then play with the idea of dropping your first and your last toes. You might have some stubborn toes in between that aren't on board, but that's okay. Gotta start somewhere. Lift up all 10. And then starting with your pinky toes, one at a time, drop them back down. I know that's a tall order. All right, for our single leg squats here, I'll come to the side, I think you'll be able to see better. Shift all the way into your left foot. Float your right foot up off the ground. So feel your thigh bone plug up into the pelvis. Now, as you reach forward, bend into your standing knee and sink your hips back. Just has to be a little bit. And make sure your bottom knee doesn't go too far in front of your toes. Now push into your standing foot, come back to stand, still hovering the legs. Inhale, do it again, sit back a little lower this time. Exhale, push the floor away, stand up. Still hover. Last one. Inhale, sit back as low, maybe as low as you can. Exhale, push the floor away, stand up. Release. Shift into your right foot. Keep your left leg straight as you float your left foot. So that thigh bone's really plugged in. Now with your hands forward, we'll inhale. Bend into your standing knee, sit back just a little bit. Exhale, push the floor away to stand. Again, inhale, sit back a little lower this time. Make sure that knee doesn't go too far in front of the toes. Exhale, push it away. Last one. Inhale, sit back, low as you can. Exhale, push away and stand all the way up. Release and drop. Nicely done. So we'll have more balance to come, but I wanted us to use that as a little warm up here. Come to the center of your mat, and hop your feet wide. Center of your mat, hop your feet nice and wide. Toes pointed straight out ahead, arms wide to a T, stretching through the tips of the fingers. Inhale, stand up tall. Now put a bend in your right knee. Your right knee. As you exhale, reach your left hand towards your right leg. So that might be your thigh, it might be your calf, or it might be the outside of your ankle. So once you're there, just like we did in revolved triangle, turn your torso open to the side, you might even look up. Feel your feet grounding. Notice if you're more on the inner or outer arches and kind of smooth that out. On your next inhale, come all the way back to center, both legs straight. Bend your left knee, exhale, turn toward the left. You can tag this arm anywhere outside the leg, right? Doesn't really matter where. But once you've found where you're going today, use the pit of your abdomen to turn your chest open toward the side. Notice where the weight is at in your feet. Notice if you're leaning forward or back. And play with bringing it towards neutral. And I like to push the bent knee out to the side a little bit. Inhale, back to center. We'll take it with the breath. Exhale, bend right, reach right. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend left, reach left. Keep cruising through these on your own. And again, letting your breath be just a little bit longer than your movement. Using our listening skills to feel the breath in the nose and hear the breath in the throat. Go ahead and balance yourself on both sides and come on back to center. Once you're back to center, turn your right toes out. Bend your knee, come into warrior two. So you're sliding your front knee forward. And a lot of us have a tendency to lean forward, so you might shift your shoulders back so they're more stacked over your hips. Gazing forward. Feel your feet dropping, grounding straight down. Hips dropping down. And breathing around the heart, feeling it lift up. Feeling the balance of opposites. Listen close, inhale. Take your back bicep forward alongside of your ear as you come onto the ball of your back foot. So coming towards a crescent lunge. Not towards, into. Full on into a crescent lunge. Now that you're here, you'll hinge forward halfway. Biceps by the ears, hover your chest over your thigh. Inhale. On your exhale, launch off your back leg, bring your back knee into your chest, hands to heart. Now you have an option here. Option to extend your front leg. Not required, just a little extra if you'd like. We'll come in and out of this a few times, so rebend your knee, lean forward, take a big step back, spin your arms open. Inhale, warrior two. Coming through crescent lunge, exhale, back knee to chest. Maybe extend the leg. Inhale, warrior two, step back and open. Exhale through crescent, exhale, step knee to chest. Last one on your own. We'll meet in warrior two when you're there. On your next exhale, windmill your hands down. Turn to the left, walk your hands to the opposite side. Walk your hands to your opposite foot. Spin the back foot down and windmill your arms up, warrior two facing the opposite side. And take a moment to check in with your feet. You got your heels lined up. Listening to your front knee, engaging, how can I bend the knee today? That might be parallel. If you have more sensitive knees, listen to that and ease up. Once you've floated the arms, feel the feet dropping down, the waist and the heart lifting up. Practicing your breathing here. Prepare for takeoff. Inhale. Come onto the ball of your back foot. Exhale, high crescent lunge. We'll take our first one nice and slow. Inhale, hinge forward halfway, hover your chest over your leg. Stay for the exhale. Put all the way into your front foot. Inhale your back knee to chest, hands to heart. Optional exhale, extend the leg. We'll come in and out a few more times. Big step back. Inhale, warrior two. Spin it open. Exhale, sweep it forward through lungs, knee to chest. Maybe extend. Inhale, warrior two, slow and steady. Exhale, balance knee to chest. Last one. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, balance knee to chest. Wonderful job. Warrior two on your next inhale. Windmill your hands down to frame your foot, exhale. Walk your hands back to face forward, face the front of your mat. Inhale to your plank pose. Exhale, half push-up. Breathe into your back bend. And breathe out, downward facing dog or child's pose if you'd like. We'll have a few breaths here to settle in. And take a moment to listen to the nuance of sensation within you. You might be feeling the creation of energy, right? Those serotonin levels elevating, the endorphins elevating. And if we can't necessarily name the feeling, we can simply notice. Wonderful job. Go ahead and drop your let's come down to table. Come down into table. Bring your toes, so tuck your toes under and bring the insides of your feet together. So toes are tucked, inner feet are together. Then take your knees about shoulder distance apart and sit back on your heels. Super fun, toe crusher pose. Brutal, but you got this. So we're gonna play with the crow prep. If crow is already in your practice, then you, do what you do best. But for crow prep, we'll take the hands right in front of the knees here, right in front of the knees, then push your knees into your hands and drag your hands back to your knees. Feel the eyes of your elbows turn forward, round your spine, look forward. Now as you hug your belly back, this is your crow pose for today. This is your crow pose for those of you that are still learning. Make sure you're looking forward. Now, those of you that have crow pose, you know the drill. You'll lift your knees up high into your elbows, slide your hands back, and then you might squeeze and find your lift. Wherever you are, take a few breaths. Listen to the heart beating. Feel the floor below you. Hear the breath through the nose. Feeling it in the throat. Last one, inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Beautifully done, everyone. Let's slide forward onto the belly. Slide forward onto the belly. Take your arms out in front of you, coming into a Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, you've got your elbows underneath your shoulders, and the fingers are spread out very wide. If you have low back complications, then you can take your elbows a little further forward so it's not as dramatic of an arch in the spine. So whatever you've got, find your Sphinx and drag your elbows back. Let's lift the heart forward. Feel the hips dropping. Now you can stay here or take Sphinx plus. Stay or take Sphinx plus, bending your knees and rotating the legs in big, I like slow circles. You don't necessarily have to go slow with it, but I enjoy feeling every part of the rotation, especially the parts that are more challenging, particularly the parts that I want to rush through. That often tells me where I need to spend more time. Take it the opposite direction. Flip it and reverse it. And coming back towards center for bow pose, drag your elbows back, heart forward. Now some of you might just lift your knees and call it a day. Others can reach the hands back, hover the hands, that's where it's at. Or grab hold of the ankles and use the strength of your legs to lengthen your spine. As you grow your sternum out from your navel, breathe into the back of your skull. Allow your neck to get longer as well. Expand on your inhales, feel it grow. Contract on your exhales, invite the belly in. Last one on your own. Beautifully done, lower down. Take one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead. You can let your heels go side to side. You might, through the art of listening, you might hear little pulses. Where do you feel it pulsing in the body, if anywhere? What parts of your breath feel shaky? Inhale or exhale, if any. All right, folks, legs back. In fact, let's push up to downward facing dog. Get a little upside down time. You know what? We forgot one thing. So before we do that, let's return to the belly. Return to the belly. I'm going to face forward so you can see a little bit better. It's about to get a little weird, a little wild. So here you'll take your hands forward. This is going to be a weird angle. But take your hands forward and interlace all but your index. Bring your two legs together, push down your hips, push down the tops of your feet. Now on your inhale, lift your legs, lift your arms. On your exhale, roll to the right, come all the way to your back, half boat, reach the tips of your fingers forward. Stay here for an inhale. Hold for an exhale. Reach your arms overhead, inhale through your belly, keep going all the way onto your left side. Exhale, reach your hands forward, half boat. Inhale here. Exhale. We'll pick up the pace, squeeze your heels. Inhale, reach forward, take your roll. Exhale, half boat. Inhale, extend and roll to the opposite side. Exhale, half boat. Keep squeezing the heels, one more each side, on your own. We'll meet back in the center when you're through. Once more, you can take one hand on top of the other, rest your forehead. Listen to the heart rate. Listen to the breathing. And we allow those two elements together to be our anchors. Our anchors into the present moment that help to dissolve the past, to dissolve the future, that we may be more wholeheartedly present, available to the here and now. All right, hands below your shoulders, push yourself on up to a seat. You can take your hips to one side, bring your legs around. We are nearing the top of the mountain, my friends. So in Dandasana staff pose, take your hands next to your hips. It's okay if your hands don't touch the floor. Some of us have shorter arms. As you push gently through the backs of the legs, so about 50% of your effort, lift your navel up away from your pubic bone. You can also drop your chin down towards your chest. Let the back of your neck feel long. Inhale, feeling the expansion. Exhale, allowing the contraction. Once more. Okay, so we'll come in and out of this a few times into a different version of vinyasa, so take your time with this. Start to slide your hands forward. Friends with tighter hamstrings, you can always bend your knees if you need. Exhale fully. Inhale, slide yourself back up to Dandasana. Round your spine as you lower all the way down. Exhale your heels up over your hips. For a lot of us, this is where we were going to stay. If you want a little bit more, lift up towards plow pose. Feeling your tail turn up toward the ceiling, your hips up over your shoulders. And again, we'll come in and out. So inhale, roll yourself up to your seat, Dandasana. Exhale, slide your hands forward, fold. Maybe a little further. Inhale, Dandasana. Exhale, legs up the wall or plow pose. Inhale, Dandasana. Exhale, fold forward. Once more on your own. Next time you're in your forward fold, pause there, wait there. And we have time to breathe into this fold. You can take it as active or relaxed as you would like it to be. Friends who are taking it more active, feel your thigh bones plug back toward the wall behind you. You can feel your pelvis move forward and ahead of you. Breathing your ears out from your shoulders. And your shoulders out from your hips. And last breath or two here. Inhale. Rolling yourself up to a seat. Take the bottoms of your feet together. Scooch your heels close. You can clasp your hands on the feet if you'd like. With your heart forward, you can relax your chin. Some of us will stay here, others might play with the fold. Now, if you're super flexible and you can get your head or your chest to the floor, resist that a little bit and stay up a little bit higher, even if it's easier for you to get there. If you want an added challenge, you can reach your hands forward, clasping the hands, spinning your palms ahead. Inhale. Exhale, slowly release back to center. Hands close your knees, come on down to your back. Lowering on your back, give yourself a little hug. Rock yourself side to side. With your arms wide, set your feet on the floor. Lift your hips up to the right a few inches. Set them down and drop your knees to the left. Just taking a gentle twist. And receiving the support from the ground. Inhale. Take your hips and knees back to center. Hips up and over to the left a few inches. Drop your knees right. Inhale. Back to center. Straighten both your legs long, your arms long as we come into Shavasana. Close the eyes. Drop the jaw. Drop the eyes. And let the ground and gravity do the work for you here. And we continue our listening practice. Observing body, breath, and also the thoughts as they come and go and pass through the mind. Without judgment or without attachment, we simply listen and observe. And I'll wake you in just a few moments when we're through. Listening is the ability to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what is heard. Listening is the foundation for intimacy and connection with ourselves and with others. So take a snapshot here and observe what it feels like to be wholeheartedly listening. And bring that with you as you start to deepen your breathing. Wake up your body in any way that feels natural for you. And take a moment to listen to which nostril is more active, which nostril feels more open. And then gently with your knees in, roll onto the more open side. You'll pause there on that side and see if that more closed nostril starts to open a bit. And in your own time, come on up to your seat. Eyes closed, palms joined together at the heart, bowing inward. As we go through our week, may we notice our barriers to listening. Notice what might get in the way of intimacy and connection. And when we do, come back to our anchors, breath and body. Back to the anchors that we may dissolve the past, dissolve the future, and be more wholeheartedly present. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. Namaste.